Hi, today we are going to discuss about in this video teacher's diary and lesson plan. Lesson plan and teacher's diary are approximately same in teacher's diary. Maximum is what lesson plans, but there are many other things. So we are going to be discussing them in details. Principles. When you see this video, you need to write down the review points. And teachers, you need to understand what teacher's diary is. Let us understand first a lesson plan. A lesson plan is an instructor's roadmap of what students need to learn and how it will be done effectively during the class time. Once the roadmap is done, then you can design appropriate learning activities and develop strategies to obtain feedback of learning or feedback of students' learning. You have to have a constructively, carefully designed lesson plan for 35 to 40 minutes because that is the duration of the class, so that you can move inside the classroom with confidence and maximize the chance of learning meaningful learning experiences with your students. So lesson plan, which is an ingredient or which is the most important part of the teacher's diary, has to be planned very well so that you can reach to the class in with full confidence. A successful lesson plan integrates and addresses three main components. One is learning objective, one is learning activities, and assessment to check the student's understanding towards the lesson being taught. So you understand the learning objective. Whenever you are teaching any chapter to a student, first of all, learning objectives must be very clear in your mind. Because if the learning objectives are not clear, then probably you won't be able to teach the chapter. Then is learning activities. It might be games, it might be group discussion, quiz, it might be putting in on smart classes content, animated content, mind maps, whatever activities you wish to do. And then finally you have taught the chapter. Now you need to check, you need to do an assessment to understand the students' learning. Now here are some of the guidelines and suggestions for a teacher regarding the teacher's diary. These must be followed and implemented in the best possible manner. The teacher's diary. Teacher's diary is an index of teacher's mindset and intent. By the help of teacher's diary, we can understand the teacher's mindset and the intent or the intention. So principals, please understand checking of teacher's diary is very important. So understand the teacher's mindset. It enhances the proficiencies, competence and correctness of the teacher. It gives the teacher insight into the academic performance of students and their ups and downs in the process of learning. While doing assessment, we can get to know the academic performance of the students and their ups and downs. Teacher's diary reflects the quality, confidence and preparedness in executing whatever the teacher is supposed to do. So it will check the quality, confidence and preparedness of the teacher. It also indicates the teacher's passion, mission and intention to enhance professionalism. By checking the teacher's diary, you will get to understand whether the teacher is passionate, her mission to teach is there or not, and intention and professional development. It helps in making the teaching method and techniques fruitful and rewarding. It enables teachers to be more systemized, methodical, and organized in both thought and action. So this is the reflection, this is the utility of teacher's diary. Let us understand how to write the teacher's diary. Teachers have to write down the teacher's timetable, class timetable, syllabus, schedule of unit and periodical test, half yearly and final examination, even the bus routes of the class students, birthdays, etc. needs to be mentioned in the teacher's diary. It is a utility where all the possible information of the teacher doing in the school is reflected. So principals, while checking, you need to check whether the complete information, whatever teacher is doing, is there in teacher's diary or not. Or teacher's diary is just constituted of lesson plans and all these informations are missing. No, each and every information has to be there. So while doing review, in the first week of April, if the session starts in April, you need to check whether the timetables are there, syllabus are there, information about the periodical tests, unit tests, half-yearly tests, bifurcation, everything is there or not. Then sample question papers and marking schemes must also be there. Marks of all the tests and examinations must be entered immediately in the teacher's diary on respective pages. And teachers cannot cut and overwrite. Failures must be marked in red ink so that immediately they can be observed, and others in blue ink. So while principals are reviewing the teacher's diary, immediately that can be visible. Name of slow learners, achievers, to be recorded in respective pages of the teacher's diary, along with the note on weakness of slow learners, indicating the extra work and of efforts carried out to encourage the student to rise to the required or expected standard of the class. So, hope you have understood the remark for the slow learners and what extra work has been given, how you are catering the slow learners, what are the efforts being made to encourage the student or to the slow learner must also be mentioned. So principals, now you know what exactly is teacher's diary. I know that you know it, but it is just a recapitulation. And teachers, now you know what teacher's diary is. I know you also know. It's a recapitulation. Program of all the remedial classes must also be mentioned in the teacher's diary. Parent phone number or parent contact numbers must also be there in the teacher's diary. And whatever innovative techniques teachers are using must also be, or incorporating in the lesson plans, must also be mentioned, maybe in a different color or different style, so that the principal gets to know, okay, this teacher is very innovative and is passionate in trying to do the best of her job. Then teachers have to write down the forecast. The unit cycle is unit tests or examinations are in between these dates. Total number of periods allocated, syllabus, chapters to be covered, and number of periods allocated by the teacher for the particular chapter. That is very, very important. Topics, which are the topics to be covered and which are the topics which are deleted. That also needs to be mentioned over here in teacher's diary. Tutorial classes held on which dates. Mention the homework and the assignments given to the students. Do mention about the educational tours. Do mention about the special assignment to the hyperactive students. So whatever teacher is supposed to do is supposed to be mentioned in the teacher's diary, and principals are supposed to check whether all these things are there or not. So principals have to make a note after seeing or while seeing the video, okay, I will be checking on these points. Then the observation. The observation about the forecast written in detail. That means proposed chapters, topics, subtopics, and teachers have to mention whether they were covered in time or not. And if some topic is left, then also teachers have to mention in the teacher's diary that this particular topic is left, and why this this delay, and how the teacher is going to be covering that. Again, is supposed to be mentioned in the teacher's diary. General performance of the students with special mark or mention of the slow learners or the low achievers, as well as hyperactive students, must also be mentioned. Holiday homework assigned and assessed must also be there. Self-assessment must also be there. These are the basic few things which are supposed to be there in the teacher's diary. Principals can add more things like meetings in the teacher's diary. Whenever there is a meeting, teachers have to write down in the teacher's diary that what happened in the meeting. Instead of taking a notes here or there, teachers must carry their teacher's diary, and all the meeting, like Saturday meetings or whenever there is a staff meeting, the finding or the minutes of meeting must be noted down in the teacher's diary. Principals can check whether teachers have understood what was communicated in the meeting. That is very important. Now coming back to the lesson plan. A wise teacher prepares well his or her teaching topics. A wise teacher evaluates his learner need in advance. A wise teacher weighs each aspect of teaching learning process clearly before entering the classroom and meeting the students. A wise teacher, I'm sure you all are a wise teacher. A wise teacher also asks himself or herself following question. I am going to be talking about some questions. A wise teacher, before writing the lesson plan, must ask these questions. Teachers, you write a lesson plan, introspect, see this video again, and see whether all these points or most of the points are covered or not. What is my teaching topic lesson? Are you either it is a topic or a lesson? What it is? How much command do I have over this topic or lesson? Ask this question before writing a lesson plan. How much time do I have to teach this topic or lesson? Who are my learners? Next question. Learners age group, learners learning style, that is multiple intelligence. What kind of learners are there in the class? Learners need, academic or professional. Learners parental, societal, economical background. And why this is also important? Because you cannot give them an activity which requires lots of money, which requires a computer at home. Because these smart classes have to be incorporated. And you don't give them assignment where lot of things are there where they are not able to, their social background, economical background doesn't support. So you need to check on and incorporate into your lesson plan, and while making the lesson plan, you need to observe all these. Then, what is the objective of the teaching of that particular topic or lesson? What your students are going to be learning is the next question. While teaching that topic or lesson, what are your students going to be learning? Then very important point, next point. What is the importance of this particular topic in the real life? Whenever you are teaching, you need to relate that topic or lesson to the real life. So what is that importance? How will you initiate? How will you ice break? Is the next question. When you enter the class, when you start teaching, how you are going to initiate the learning? That every learner is involved. Normally, we have seen in few teachers' observation. Teachers will go inside the class, start teaching blah, 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 bouncer, bouncer, bouncer. Finished. No. You need to understand how you are going to initiate the learning. How you will initiate the learning needs to be very much known. How you are going to be presenting the topic. How are you going to be presenting the topic? How will you present the teaching? What are the key concepts? How do you identify the complex terminology? How do you mark the difficult words for the students? What is the right methodology? Either it is a lecture, interactive, illustrative, explanatory, or maybe with smart class. So what is the right methodology to teach this particular lesson? What are the questions you are going to ask to your students while teaching the topic or lesson? What are the resources or printed material, notes, flashcard, worksheet or questionnaire or technology supported material used and to be used while teaching or delivering the lesson? You must be knowing it. What are the integrated activities? Pre-reading techniques. See, while I attended a course at Harvard, they gave me a pre-reading. If you do a course at Harvard or at Stanford, a short duration course also, or you are studying in the top end, so they are going to be giving you some pre-reading teaching or activities. So if a student has done some pre-reading or some activity, they are going to be prepared in the classroom. That is flipped classroom also. Students see the videos at home. You have cptonline.in. Tell the students to watch the video at home and then come prepared tomorrow, and we are going to have a discussion rather than a lecture. So students are going to be much more inclined. So flip learning again can be incorporated over here. Post-reading techniques and activities, group work, pair work, group discussions, integration of technology, using a web-based material, audio, images, map, charts, key point, anything. So you need to plan all these before thinking about the lesson plan. How are you going to ensure the active participation of 100% of your students? How can you do each one teach one? In a class, normally, what happens is, in a 35 minutes period, this is one of the strategies which can be used, and I use this strategy while I was teaching in the classes. I used to assign, I have two students, one good students and one the student who needs attention. So these two students are going to be sitting together. After every 10 minutes, I used to tell them, okay, both of you have to discuss, or the whole class has to discuss, I'm sorry, whatever has been taught in the class. Whatever has been taught in the class, after every 10 minutes, they're going to be discussing. So recapitulation happens, and each one teach one also happens. So this can be a fairly good strategy. What is the plan for the extensive learning activity for the gifted students? Now, one are slow learners, one are gifted students. Gifted students are those who are blessed, those who know everything, those who are much ahead. So what are you going to do with them? And what are the remedial plans for the academically challenged student? How you are going to be doing the remedial classes? How you plan to keep students' learning interest high? How are you going to design your lesson plan that the learning interests are at the highest level? How are you going to maintain the students' behavior during the teaching? Now this is again very important while you are making a lesson plan. What are the life skills you are teaching? While doing that particular topic, what are the life skills you are teaching? Problem solving, critical thinking, empathy, intrapersonal. So what are you teaching? Are you teaching them critical thinking, decision making, problem solving? So life skills are also supposed to be incorporated, and they need to be discussed in the classrooms. Very important. What values? What kind of homework will suit the students? How will you evaluate the understanding during the lesson? In cptonline.in, there is a test. After every exam, ask the students to take the multiple question test, and you can find out with the result of the test that whether the students have understood the chapter or not. So once the chapter is over, CPT online multiple intelligence test must be taken by all the students. Make it a mandatory affair. Now you need to also check the objective of teaching did match the outcome of the lesson. After completion, you need to check whether my learning objective was met or not. And also, while teaching and after the teaching, what are the specific areas you need to improve on after teaching, so that in next class, see, in the first lesson plan of principles, when you're evaluating, all these points have to be checked whether the teachers are meeting all these points or not. And also, the shortcomings in the lesson plan or the lesson being taught today has been overcome in the next teaching lesson plan or not. So don't allow teachers to write down the lesson plans of the whole year in one go. No, weekly once. And whatever were the shortcomings need to be covered in the next week lesson plans. So that is why observing the teacher's diary and teacher's lesson plan is so important by the principal. Is so important by the principal. Even right now, if there is a lockdown and online classes are going on, teacher's diary must be written and teacher's diary must be checked. Because whatever points we have discussed, there might be some tips, there might be some points, there might be more points. I'm sure you are an expert and you might be knowing much more points than whatever probably has been discussed right now over here. So please discuss these points, please ensure to check, please, while you're checking the teacher's diary, and guide your teachers that you have not done this thing right or wrong. If you have not understood this video, watch it 100 times. But teacher's diary is the most important reflection of what teachers are doing in their classes or doing in the school. Teachers, please write down, please be very careful in writing your teacher's diary. This is very, 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 very important. During the lockdown also, even the time of online classes also. See, the new normal is online classes. Today or tomorrow, even after 100% of the schools are open, online is going to be working. So at that time also teacher's diary needs to be written. And all these points which I have discussed, at least these points, you can think of further beyond, you can think beyond this, but these points at least must be incorporated. I'm sure for the teachers, you might have found this video very helpful. For the principals, I'm 100% sure you might have found this, you might have got some insight of delivering a good lesson plan or good lesson plan by the teachers, and you have got good insight how to check on the teacher's diary. So please ensure to deliver the best possible lesson plans by your teacher, and teachers, please ensure that writing the teacher's diary is a reflection of your hard work. If you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe the channel. You might be getting a lot of interesting videos day after day, and you will be a learned teacher. Thank you very much. Have a great day.